Friday, the 15th of November, sees Jake the Problem Child Paul go up against Iron Mike Tyson, the legendary Hall of Fame fighter, in a mouth-watering mega clash that is going down at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Yeah, it's an influencer fight, and it's one of the biggest influencer fights of all time. Now, people have been cussing this fight down and saying that it's a circus, etc. I guarantee you, my brothers, you'll be tuning into it. It is going to be a good fight. Now, listen, nobody wants to see Mike Tyson get beat down. No one wants to see him getting rolled up and smoked in a spliff. You know what I mean? No one wants to see this brother getting cooked. He is one of our fans' favorites. One of the guys that got us into boxing. He was a guy that had like neck muscles, knocking people out. He was the brother that stopped people from missing and skipping leg day. Iron Mike Tyson. We can't see him get broke up by a YouTuber. The boxing romantic, I guess, are hoping that Iron Mike is going to turn up. The old Iron Mike would turn up. But guess what, my brothers? 25 years ago, that guy was getting broke up and parked up by Kevin McBride. So he's not going to really be any better. Let's be realistic about it. And that's what's sad for the purists is Mike about to get folded up like a deck chair and put to bed for one final time. And it's going to be sad to see if he is humiliated and distressed. No one wants to see Mike Tyson humiliated and distressed. You know, distressed and humiliated like a man that's gone out on a bender and spent the kid's life savings and now has to go back to the wife and explain what happened. That kind of humiliated and stressed. We don't want to see him like that, you know. So, listen, it's a big matchup. We've got Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson. He's 58 years old, 50 wins, 6 losses, 44 of his wins coming by KO. And we've got Jake Paul, 27 years old, 10 wins, 7 KOs, and just the 1 loss. But listen, is Iron Mike there for a payday? Is he there just for some papers and he doesn't need to win this fight? He's just hoping for the best. Or is he actually going to go for the win and go for the kill? Is there a chance we can see the old killer back there? You know, that's what is fascinating about this fight. And that's what's going to make, make for good viewing, you know. And listen, some people won't get up in the middle of the night. In the UK, it's going to be late night, this fight. And there's not many fights you get up for or you try and see. You know, a lot of misfits cards. People don't really jump up in the UK to make sure they're awake for them. A lot of the US fights, a lot of fight fans here won't get up anymore unless it was a Mayweather or an A-side fighter. But we're going to see people getting out of their beds or coming home late at night and tuning into this. It is on Netflix as well for the first time, which is going to be good. I think it's going to give some really good viewership on here. We're not having to pay a pay-per-view here in the UK for this fight. Listen, smash the likes. I want to see the like button getting a 1-2 straight down the pipe, and make sure you comment. Who do you think is going to win this fight? Is it going to be Iron Mike or is it going to be Jake Paul? Will it be the old warrior or will the young buck now take over? Listen, let's be fair. Let's be frank about this. If it was just based on age, if Iron Mike was 27 and he was the same age as Jake Paul, this would be an absolute mismatch. Like, literally, this would be a mismatch. So age is clearly a factor in this fight. No one can even argue against that. The age is the key factor in this fight, because if Mike was 27, literally, he would get arrested for what he's about to do to Jake Paul. But the fact that he is 58 makes it difficult for him. You know, he's not looking like he's moving well, in my opinion. We're seeing a lot of pad work and hitting the bags, but we're not really seeing him in active spars. And, you know, to me, he looks stiff. He's lived a life of drugs and women, and he's had a hard life, smoking a lot of green, blazing away. And to turn it around and roll back the clock and knock out this young cat, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. You know what I mean? I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that at all. But listen, having said that, power is the last thing to go. Your power is the last thing to go. That's a fact. You know, when you're old, you still can carry power. You can still whack. Technique is a big part of power. Rotation is a big part of power. And then someone like Iron Mike, he's just born with power, isn't he? He's naturally born. He's gifted with knockout power. So he won't lose that. And that is the only hope that we have for our brother. That is the only hope this brother has, is that he can bring the power and he can hurt Jake Paul and knock him out, in my opinion. It's going to be really difficult for him otherwise, isn't it? But hear me out now, my G's. Punch resistance is the first thing to go. And your speed and your reactions, that's the first thing to go, man. When you start hitting 40, those are the things that go. You start going. You can't take the shots as well. You know, things start hurting a bit more. Training hurts a bit more. The knees start going. The old knee-hee-hees start falling apart. You know what I mean? They start buckling up. You know what I mean? The old back starts creaking. You know, you start hearing it creak. You know what I mean? So it's going to be hard for him. Is Jake Paul just going to be too young, too fit, too strong? You know, and that's what I hate to lean towards this, because as a boxing purist, we need to see Iron Mike literally lay this brother out, you know, lay him out like a napkin. You know, that's what we need to see him do. You know, everyone in the world in boxing wants to see Jake Paul filled out like an application form by Iron Mike Tyson. But sadly, I think Iron Mike is there on the payroll. I think he's there for payday. I don't think he can wind back that clock. You know, 25 years ago, as I said, Kevin McBride was beating him up. Danny Williams was parking him up like a full Fiesta. And now he's going to be going in against a young guy who's, you know, heavy-handed and strong. Whether you like it or not, this brother, Jake Paul, he is heavy-handed. You know, he is a heavy-handed brother. You know, he's got the knockouts to prove it. Even if it's smaller guys and older guys, he's heavy-handed. He hits hard. He's young. He's hungry. And I think that's going to be a key factor. So let's just go through the rules of the fight. The rules of the fight. So KOs are permitted. You are allowed to knock each other out. I know it sounds silly, but in a boxing fight where you're not allowed to KO each other, you know, that's just absolutely ridiculous. You may as well have an ashtray on a motorbike. You know what I mean? It's just like completely pointless. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they're allowed to bruck each other up. They're allowed to bad each other up. It is a sanctioned pro fight. So what that means, it will go on BoxRec. This will go on Iron Mike's record, man. Can you imagine that when you got a loss to Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield on there, and then you got a brother who's a video editor that's also on your CV? Oh, it's unbearable to think that our hero growing up is going to get turned over like a new leaf on New Year's Day. It doesn't bear thinking. It's going to be a hard watch. But, yeah, it's a sanctioned fight. It does go on their pro records. It is going to be 8 2-minute rounds. Let me know what you think about that, people. I do think it helps Iron Mike when you're the power puncher, or if you're going to base your strategy on power, which I think he will need to. He's not going to be more energetic. He's most likely not going to be faster. So he's going to have to get to Jake Paul. And I think 2-minute rounds is going to make a big difference. Listen, when you're sparring or you're fighting, 2 minutes to 3 minutes is a huge, huge difference. Three minutes rounds is you can be much more patient. 2-minute round fights are much more hectic, much more chaotic. 2-minute rounds, they're chaotic. So I think the 2 minutes is going to suit him just because he's going to have less time to fight and before the recovery time comes. But as I said, smash the likes, put your comments in. Let us know your prediction for this fight. It is going to be exciting, to say the least. 14-ounce gloves, my people, as well. So bigger gloves than the pros use. Fair enough, that's safe. I don't mind seeing that. But also there's no head guards, which I like to see. Head guards, whilst it maintains safety, it's harder to see, it's harder for your vision. It's it would make it a bit remarkable of the fight watching Tyson back in a head guard. So it is good to see. So listen, look, tell me if you're a boxing romantic and are you actually thinking, look, Tyson can pull this job off? It will be the biggest heist since Hatton Gardens if this brother can roll back the clock. And I'm not talking about roll back 20 years. You're talking about roll back 40 years. You know what I mean? Roll back 40 years and when he was in his prime, almost 40 years he'd need to roll back and put on a destruction, and be a weapon of mass destruction. So can he do that? Is that our hearts telling us, yeah, he can? Mike Tyson can win this fight. He can knock this brother out. He's just a YouTuber. He can't fight. His chin's not been tested. Or if we actually use our heads, are we actually saying actually we're being silly? We're being silly billies. We're being silly billies. There's no way that he can do this. So I'm not so sure. I mean, I hate to say it, but I just think Jake's gonna have too much for our man. I think he's just gonna have too much. And I hope I am wrong. Gunman hopes he is wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I am happy to see Jake Paul turned over like a pancake on Shrove Tuesday. I'm happy to see it, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I really just don't think it's going to happen. But listen, tune in, my people. It's going to be a good fight. People are calling it a circus, but I guarantee you will have your mince pies on this fight. You will be watching and you will be tuning in. And even if you don't get up to watch it, if you're in the UK, you'll be trying to find somewhere to watch it in the morning. I guarantee you can't tell porky pies to me. When Tyson fights, Mans comes out. As I said, smash the like button. Comment on who you think is going to win. I'm sadly going with Jake Paul, but I absolutely am first to say I hope I am incorrect. Let us know your views, though. Tell us why I'm wrong, and tell us why you're not going with your heart and why you actually think Mike can pull this one off. So come on, I am Mike. Come and do this for us, brothers. Don't let us down, my man. Fill this guy in. You know what I mean? Smoke him, cook him, put this brother in the air fryer for the sake of boxing. Cook him in the air fryer. No, don't leave no red on the bone even. You know what I'm saying? Don't even leave any red on the bone. We need him cooked to his crisp. It needs to be one-way traffic. One-way traffic from you, Iron Mike. You've got to bad up this brother. You have got to do this for the sanity of the sport, for the sanity of boxing. You need to pull this off. And Jake Paul, you should go to jail for what you're about to do to Tyson if you win this fight. You know what I mean? Because handpicking a vulnerable 58-year-old doesn't go down well. But I've got to give you props, man, because what you're doing in the sport, whether people want to hate on you or not, you're bringing new eyes to the sport. Influencer boxing is good for the sport. Anyone who's complaining that influencer boxing isn't good for the sport are just haters. It's good for the sport. We've got all kinds of guys now getting into it. Video editors, TikTokers, Instagrammers, social media guys that are doing podcasts, all of them are now picking up the gloves with the hope that they can maybe face Jake Paul one day, or get on Misfits or whatever. It's brought more eyes to the sport, which is great, man. It's great, I know sometimes the standard's terrible on some of these shows where you're seeing guys wanting to be boxers and you see man doing the front crawl, like, hey, yeah, come on, I'm going to hit you. You're doing the front crawl. And then when they get hit, they're doing the they're doing the backstroke when they get hit and falling across the ring. You know what I mean? But it's important that people are getting into the sport, people are, tuning into this fight from other areas of the game. Personally, I love Riyadh season and what the Sheikh is doing. I love what Riyadh season cards, when they're announced, I'm buzzing. But this side of the sport, Misfits, Jake Paul, and his promotion, they're bringing numbers and they're bringing eyeballs and they're doing a lot of good things. And any boxers that are moaning about influencer boxing, what you need to do, if you're a fighter and you're thinking, I'm not getting fights, I'm not getting the recognition that I deserve, then what you need to do is you need to get off your ass. You need to start doing training videos. You need to start showboating. You need to start knocking brothers out. You need to start trash talking. You need to jump on my chat show, the Gunman Boxing chat show on Instagram. DM me. You need to start following my show and, getting yourself out there to the people. I interview fighters of all levels. You need to be making things happen. You can't just be sitting there moaning about these influencers and you're not doing nothing. You know what I mean? You're a wicked amateur fighter and you're not doing nothing. You know what I mean? So listen, Christmas just won't just come early, my brother. You need to get off your backside and do something, make stuff happen. Listen, there's only a few ingredients to boxing. If you want to be a pay-per-view fighter, there's only a few ingredients to this game. 1, trash talk. 2, showboat. 3, knock man's out. 4, cool man's out. 5, post your training, post your best moments, let people know about it. It's all well doing it for the fam and not the gram, but no one sees it. No one will see you. So get yourself out there. Those 5 things. You do those 5 things. And if you do them well, you will rise to the very top of this sport. Trust me, mark my words. I know what I am talking about. Make sure you get yourself out there if you're fighting. You can't just complain about influencer boxing being at the top of the game and you're sitting in your ass just hoping one day someone's going to give you a call and that you're going to get somewhere. It just don't work like that. It just does not work like that. And this show shows, Jake Paul shows that, listen, if you've got a blue tick and you've got followers, you can fight anyone in the goddamn world. That's fact. If you've got a blue tick and you've got followers, you can fight anyone in the world. This brother, Jake Paul, this brother here, he's fighting Mike Tyson because he's made noise. Not because he's a brilliant fighter, but because he's made noise. So he's the number one example for you, He's the main example of an influencer that just made noise. Even he doesn't need everyone to love him. In fact, it doesn't matter if people hate him. But if you're spending time watching him or listening to him or even following him, then you're actually in his space and you're consuming his time and he's consuming you're consuming his media, I should say. And so he's won. And this is what this guy does so well, man. And you got to big him up for that. He's getting the fights he wants. He's getting paid serious papers. I mean, this guy is getting peas. This brother here is getting peas. And not only is he getting peas, he's getting to have life experiences with, he's fought Anderson Silva. And now he's going to fight Mike Tyson. So this brother has got, he's got serious recognition, and everyone knows who he is. 27 million followers, I think, on Instagram alone. You know what I mean? So you can't hate on the brother. He's doing things the right way. He's doing those things. He's trash talking. He's knocking people out. You know, he's flashy. He's showboating and in training and posting videos in training. He's doing all those things that I mentioned. And then with the platform that he has, mate, world's his oyster. As for Iron Mike, listen, we all wish you the best, my brother. We want to see the Iron Mike that knocked down Trevor Berbick back in '86 with one punch, knocked that G down 3 times with one punch. The man got up and was falling down again and getting up and then falling down again, doing the chicken dance. That's what we want to see from Iron Mike. Everyone wants to see that, brother. We want to see you terrorizing man, you know, terrorizing man like Spinks, you know. The guy absolutely pooed himself. You know, we need to see the old Iron Mike back just for one last dance. Like and comment and share. Gunman Boxing. That's my breakdown on the big fight. Make sure you tune in. It's going to be sick. Make sure you subscribe to Gunman Boxing for the very best insights into the fight game. Peace out.